Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Michelle Keane, and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss a single video. Firstly, before we jump into this, I'm going to give you some updates because it has been a hell of a long time since I last filmed. It's going to feel like a week for you guys, but for me it's been a good month or so. Uni gets in the way like that. Number one is I've hopefully worked out where that awful buzzing sound was coming from. I'm currently filming in a room full of fish tanks, so I'm pretty sure it's one of the filters. So all of those are turned off for filming. I've also turned off the ducted heating so we don't get any buzzing. And the birds aren't squawking their heads off, which is good, but the birds outside are, so we'll see how that goes. Another thing is my Etsy store will be running a sale throughout December, from the 4th of December to Boxing Day. So head on over if you'd like 15% off for the Christmas holidays. Another thing is I have got a brand new toy to play with. It is a Samsung Tab S6. This was filmed in last day of September. This is brand new for me, but when I've settled in a bit more with it, I will give you a review on this. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. So, let me grab my notes. So before Christmas, probably around about when this is going to be released, I'm going to be going away for a couple of weeks. Yes, I'm leaving my fish babies and my bird babies, so we'll see how this goes. But I thought I'd give you a video on tips for how you can help out your fish sitter so that you don't come back and find all your fish dead. It happens more often than you think when you go away. So firstly, finding your fish sitter. There are a lot of professional places that'll do it for you, but most of the time when I go away I will either enlist my mum, but she's coming away with me so I can't do that this time, or I'll enlist some neighbours' kids. Because kids absolutely love animals. When they see something like my room, they're like, oh my god, this is amazing, there's so many animals, it's like a zoo, this is incredible, why won't mum let me have this? And they will just really enjoy looking after them until it gets to day 7 and they're dying and they don't want to do it anymore. But they also are very enthusiastic when it comes to money because most of them don't have a job. So I find that kids are very reliable for this sort of thing, especially when their parents are going to make sure they do it. So for me, I'm going to be enlisting the neighbours' kids. Hopefully it works out fine. But another thing you can do is, well, basically in general, just keep it really simple. So for me, since I have so many tanks, I'm going to label each of these tanks. I'm going to make sure that they have names so that the kids know which one's which and what to feed it and such like that. I'm also going to be making sort of an instructions list on how much to feed it, what to look out for, that sort of thing. Just really basic things. Another thing to think about is how long are you going to go away for? So for me, I'm going away short enough that I can just completely forgo water changes for the entire period. So this way I'm reducing the workload on my fish sitters, so they don't have to do something as crazy as water changing 7 or 8 tanks. So avoid water changes if you can. If you can't, then show them how to do it. But you also want to bring them in, show them the tanks, show them where all the food is, that sort of thing. Make sure they're comfortable with it. So to further reduce the workload, you want to buy timers for the power points where your lights are. So this means that, well, for me, I only feed my fish once a day. So with the lights being on timers, I only have to get the fish sitter in once a day to feed them. They don't need to come in the afternoon and turn the lights off. It's just once a day. And timers can be relatively cheap. You can pick them up anywhere between $10 to $30. They are well worth it. I'm using timers on 3 of my tanks at the moment, and I really need to get more of them before I go away. And it works wonders. I don't have to worry about it, it's just automatic. You will get tanks that the light is built into the filter, so you can't turn off the light from the power point without turning off the filter. I've got one of those. It's a Fluval Chi. It's a real pain, but you'll need to consider, is it going to get enough light from other sources? Maybe you want to put an LED lamp next to it and use that as the light for the holidays, because then you can put it on a timer, something like that. So you just need to think about your options with that sort of thing. Another thing is keep it simple with food. So most fish keepers will feed their fish a varied diet, which is good, that's a good thing to do. But when you're going away and you want your fish sitter who is a, 15-year-old kid to pull out an earthworm and feed your axolotl, it's probably not gonna happen. So to simplify it down, get the fish sitter to feed them pellets for the week or something like that. My axolotl's main diet is pellets, so for this week that I'm going away, I'm just gonna let the fish sitter feed them pellets. Just gonna make it so much easier. I can feed them as many worms as he wants when I get home, but for now, pellets. Same goes for frozen food. You might think that frozen food is going to be easier for the fish sitter. That's something you need to sit down and have a chat to them about, whether they'd be more comfortable feeding frozen foods or pellets or flakes or whatever. Something you need to talk to them about, but most are going to prefer the dried food, the pellets, anything easy like that. Also, to keep it simple with the food is feed one type. So majority of my fish will eat one type of pellet, which is like I'll need to check what it is. It's like a better pellet sort of thing. That's going to make it so much easier if they just have to pick up one container and chuck them all in. But my goldfish and my axolotl, they eat a different type of pellet. So I can minimize it down to about 2 to 3 pellets, and that's as far down as I can go. Another thing is with one of my tanks, I've got ember tetras, and they can't eat most pellets that I have, so I need to crush them up and then they're fine to eat it. I would recommend doing any sort of crushing and stuff like that, any food preparations, before your fish sitter is looking after your fish. Have a bowl or something of just crushed food that they can use on that tank so they don't have to do it themselves. It'll cut down the time, it'll cut down their frustration and confusion, it'll cut down any mistakes. Another thing that a lot of people won't think about is the measurement of the food. So when I'm feeding fish, I tend to just give them a pinch, or I'll, sort of eyeball it, how many pellets, that sort of thing. But your fish sitter may not have that sort of experience to be able to eyeball it. So you need to give them proper measurements. Whether that's, I don't know, half a teaspoon of pellets for a community tank, or exactly 5 pellets for the axolotl, something like that. You need to actually give them proper measurements, so there's going to be no mistakes with that. I made that mistake the first time I let my mum look after my fish, and she gave them so much food, they were all bloated. It was awful. It took me forever to get them down to a nice weight again. So make sure you're being exact with your measurements of food, definitely. And another thing is, to avoid that sort of bloating and stuff, make sure you still give your fish a fasting day. So a lot of people will give their fish maybe 1 or 2 days a week where they just don't feed them. And that allows their digestion to work a bit better, and it's just better for the fish. Make sure you still give your fish that day with your fish sitter. Maybe tell them, on the Wednesday, don't feed them. It's okay, you don't need to come in. Just maybe come in, check on them, make sure they're all still alive, but don't feed them. That'll be really good for your fish, and it's going to solve any issues in case there is some little bit of overfeeding. And don't forget to give your fish sitter some little tips. For example, watch out for the light blue fish. It will jump out at you when you feed them. Or the fish will beg for more food. Don't give in. They'll get fat. This will not only make it a bit more enjoyable for them, but it also prepare them for any little weird things that might happen when they're feeding the fish. So another example, I have a dwarf gourami, and sometimes it'll squirt you when you're feeding it. Not always, it's just like a little instinct thing to get mosquitoes and things in the wild. But that would be a shock to someone new to fish keeping, so tell them that sort of thing. Write it in your little booklet that you're going to give them, your little binder. And if possible, make sure that they've got some way to contact you while you're away. In case something goes wrong, if there's any questions they have, make sure they have a contact number or an email, anything like that, that you'll be able to check on maybe once a day, once every couple of days, just to make sure that everything's fine, and that if something goes wrong, they can contact you. If they're confused about something, they can contact you, and just have a way to contact you. Now, another thing that you might not think about is when I went away, I actually invested in one of those Wi-Fi security cameras. Now, during this time that I went away recently, before this new date, it would have been around the time that I just got the axolotl, and I think he was having trouble, from memory, he was having trouble eating. I'd only just got him to eat, and he'd gone about a week or so without food before that date. So I was just making sure that he was getting enough food, and so I invested in a Wi-Fi camera, primarily because I was going to miss him and I was worried about him because he was a new fish, and he was a new amphibian, new pet. I wanted to make sure he's okay, but also so I can check in as well. It's sort of a way that you can check around. If you have one room where you got all your fish tanks in, you can sort of rotate it, check around, make sure everything's fine. It means you can watch out for things like if there's a tank leak, you know, God forbid. If there is, then you can call your fish sitter and say, I really need you to go down right now, or get someone to go down and sort this out. There's an issue, I can see it, da da da. Or you can make sure that nothing's going wrong. You can make sure you got no dead fish, depending on how good the resolution is. Or you can just sort of guide your fish sitter through the motions as well. So you can say, oh, I noticed that you forgot to put the tank lid on, you know, just make sure you put that on because they'll jump out and die. Or I noticed that one of the lights got left on last night, even though it's on a timer, can you just check the power point, you know, that sort of thing. All in all, going on holiday with fish is a little bit stressful. When you're there, you don't tend to think about them too much. You'll give them a, you know, side thought every now and then. But as long as you've picked a fish sitter or you've organised yourself in a way that it's not going to matter if someone's looking after them or not, you'll be fine. I would definitely recommend getting a fish sitter, unless you're going away for maybe like 2 days. Definitely get a fish sitter. I wouldn't recommend those timer feeding things where it deposits a certain amount of food, because they can go wrong and you won't have anyone to check if it's gone wrong or not. So definitely get a fish sitter, definitely talk them through everything, give them a booklet, give them a phone number that they can call you on, and just really instill some confidence in them that it's not too bad of a job and they'll have fun and you're used to fish dying, so if they do, you're not completely going to blame them, but just let them know. For example, tiny fish, amber tetras, pygmy cories are known to drop dead randomly. Make sure that's something you tell your fish sitter, that it may not actually be their fault, and that if something does go wrong, something dies or something gets sick, they need to call you. They don't need to like hush it up and pretend everything's fine, because you're not going to yell at them, hopefully. Please don't yell at them, they're trying their best. But they'll need your insight to fix the problem. But you definitely want to make sure that your fish sitter is comfortable with what they're doing. If not, go find another one. Also make sure you're paying them. Definitely. Especially with kids, money is a good incentive. How much to pay them depends on what you're looking at. For me, with my very hobby-based tanks, there's nothing too expensive in them. I would probably pay maybe $10, $20 a day, probably $10 a day, which works out to be probably about $1 a minute of care that they do. It takes about 10 minutes for me to feed all the fish in the morning and feed the birds, so they're probably looking at about $1 a minute. If the fish sitting is getting in the way of something that they're doing, for example if they'll be late for work or something like that, maybe give them a bit more. Or they could just get up a bit earlier, but you know, give them a bit more incentive. Make sure it's worth their time and that they're going to be comfortable with it, they're going to sort of enjoy doing it, so that you can get them to do it another time. Because we all want to go on holidays multiple times, so make sure that they will do it again if you ask. Well, that's all I really have to say on this topic. I hope this has helped you out. I know that making this list has helped me out a lot with working out what I'm going to talk to my fish sitter about and things that I need them to know and ways that I can improve the whole process. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget that for December my Etsy store is having a sale, 15% off. You can get things like these beautiful earrings and the necklace. Lots of crystal jewellery on there at the moment, so if you're interested, go give that a look. Sorry, Puff's blowing bubbles and I wasn't sure what she was doing. Anyway, I hope that it's helped out immensely, and hopefully there's no buzzing in this video, otherwise I might need to invest in a microphone or something. And I hope you've enjoyed, hope it's helped you out, and I'll see you guys next time, hopefully a bit sooner than it took me to film this one. Bye guys.